Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to make a page that burns using some cool shader tricks. Let's get started. This is a really handy thing to learn because you can use it for anything like, force fields that disappear or reappear. So you can use it for like ice freezing and growing, and it's a really useful technique. And I had a really great comment show up in one of the previous videos when we did the book. Someone was asking how we'd make the pages burn. So I thought, hey, that's a really great idea. Let's do this as a tutorial. So if you leave a comment with your ideas, they might end up as a future tutorial as well. So go ahead and leave a comment right now. Any comment, they all help. Let's get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make our page and then we're going to do the burning effects. So I'm going to just delete everything just to clear up my scene. I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, and Plane. This will be our page. Now I'm going to get the specific dimensions of my texture, 2550 by 3330. Okay. So I'm going to enter in these. We can do this a couple different ways. If you go to the Item tab on the side here, we've got something down here called Dimensions. These are all in meters, it's kind of, just arbitrary, but I'm going to put, let's see, 2.55. The Y, I'm going to make 3.30. All right, cool. There we go. So that's the dimensions of my texture that I'm going to use. But if you, let's see, we need to apply that scale. So let's go F3 and type in apply and just select that first one there, apply scale, and you'll see that the scale switches to 1, 1, and 1. But the dimensions stay the same. So this is now, we're saying this is our base scale. This is the proper size of our object. All right, next up, let's go ahead and switch over to Material Preview. And I'm just gonna drag up here and switch over to the shader editor. I'm gonna click New, create a new shader. We'll call this Paper. And I'm gonna come down in here and I'm going to grab my material and my texture I made. And I'll just bring it over here. This is this little texture that I made in Photoshop. If you'd like to see how, you can join the Patreon or join on YouTube and you'll see the uncut version of this tutorial where you can watch lots of extra stuff where I go into a lot of extra detail along with all the other tutorials. Every tutorial I make has an uncut version that's got a lot of extra stuff in it, plus a little bit of a chat, and it's kind of nice, little more personal videos. So if you want to check those out, join on YouTube or join on YouTube. You can get access to all of them. Since I started this channel, it's like 3 years of content. Okay, top secret. You can see where we're going with this. I want to add a little bit of like a rough, papery texture to this and give it like a little bit of an old document look. So we're going to do that here in Blender. So I'm going to just create a noise texture, and I am going to go to Mix Color. I'm going to switch this to Color. And what I want to do is take the factor and I'm going to plug this one into here. So I might just make this the other. There we go. So there's the noise, and it can fade between the two of them. But I might set this to multiply. I'll just multiply this noise onto my page. And then I can come over here and grab a color ramp and just drop it here. And now I've got a little bit more control over this noise. I want to kind of go for like a yellowed page. So I'm going to just bring this up to something like this. Now if I bring these close together, it'll increase the contrast. Okay, now let's do a little bit of bump, give it a bit of a paper texture. I'm going to use similar setup as a noise texture. Grab a bump node, drop this here, take the factor into the height and the normal into the normal. Then we can take the distance down to like 0.1. Just look right here at the surface. You'll see we've got this nice little paper texture. Now let's think about the other material properties of this thing. So roughness, take the roughness down, it's going to get shiny, but it doesn't make sense. I might bring the roughness up, and specular, I'll just kind of leave at its normal tint level, and I think I'll just keep everything else. So let's go ahead and switch to rendered view, and I'm going to go ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. In order to make something burn, there's a couple things we need to do. We're going to be using the alpha channel to create transparency in the object. Now this will work in Cycles and in Eevee. We're going to do this in Eevee, and we want to make several different layers. We want to have the layer that makes things disappear. We want to have the fringe where the burn is, so the glowing hot like burny bit, and then we want to have the blackened section as well. So it's kind of that kind of burn, and it goes a bit black and it sort of crinkles away. So what we can do is we're going to use a gradient texture to pull off a lot of this effect. So I'm going to take all this cool stuff that we've got here for our main texture, and I'll just move it off here to the side. And I'm going to create a gradient texture node. Now we've got several different versions. We've got linear at the moment. I'm going to switch mine to spherical. And we could just to simplify things, we could just look at this. I'm actually just going to plug the color into, or the factors, sorry, into the emission. And I'm going to just unplug the base color for now, just so we can simply look at this and see what it's doing. I want to plug this into the base color. Both of these will give us a really clear view. So you can see now we get this like half circle. Let me jump out of my camera. I can really work on this. Okay, so we've got this half circle. And what's going on with the gradient texture is it's using the generated coordinate at first. So let's grab the texture coordinate node. And you can see if I plug in the generated, nothing changes. And so what it's doing is trying to figure out how to place the sphere on the object. You can see the center of the sphere is down in the bottom left. And that's usually what happens with this gradient texture. It always puts the center of the sphere in the bottom left. You can also see it's stretched a bit. It's not a perfect circle. And that's because the shape of our object is a bit elongated. If I use the object coordinate, you can see that it puts it right in the middle. So the circle goes in the center of the object. And what we want is we want to be able to control where that circle goes, because this is where the burn is going to come from, and we need to be able to move it around. So one way to do that that's really good is to use another object to drive the position of this shader, or drive the position of this gradient. So to do that, I'm going to go Shift A, empty, and we're going to create a plane axis empty, and I will put it right up here. I hit G and Shift Z, so I locked it so it doesn't move on the Z plane. That's what Shift does when you hit G and then Shift and then one of the X, Y, or Z coordinates. So I'm just moving it up here to the top corner and see how this works. If I come here to the object, right now we're using the object output, and if there's nothing in here, it's just going to use the object it's assigned to. But because we have something we want to use, I need to click this and select that empty. And now you can see it's over here. So as I move this around, it's going to move the gradient across my texture. Now I can do other things like grab Z, right? And you can see what happens is it starts to disappear. Now why is that? It's because picture this thing as a sphere, right? This is basically a sphere in 3D space, and wherever it intersects my object, that's where I'm going to get this gradient. So that's why when I move it up and down, I've got the bottom of the sphere, and then, we could switch this, from plane axis to sphere. You could really see kind of how it's working. So that's what's going on there with that. So using this, we can scale it and do all kinds of cool stuff, but this is going to be how we control our gradient. So you can see here, if I scale out from the corner, it's going to expand until it consumes the whole page. So I'm going to place this just off the corner of the page. I'm going to scale it down so that it's not intersecting, and then we're going to animate this scaling up. Now, another way you could do that, instead of using an external object, like if you wanted it all to live within the shader, you could also technically keep this on object and then grab a mapping node, drop this here, and now you can move it using this mapping node. Now to keep things simple and we don't lose stuff, you might want to parent this to the page. That way it sticks with it, no matter where we end up putting it. In fact, I might rotate this back around just to kind of keep it straight, because I think it's going to just drive me nuts. Let's go ahead and we'll scale this up a little bit, just so we've got half and half. We could start figuring out how this is going to work. Okay, so let's go ahead and drive the alpha channel with this. And you can see kind of how this whole thing works. So I'm going to plug the factor and I'll plug it into the alpha. Now, nothing's going to happen at first because we need to come over to options in Eevee, and we're going to change the blend node from opaque to alpha blend. And the same with the shadow, we're going to alpha hashed, and I'm going to turn off show backface. And now you can see it's going to making things transparent, but it's in the wrong direction, right? So white makes things solid, black makes things transparent. But what we can do is we can just go here and we can grab a color ramp, or we can invert it. But I'll use a color ramp. And I'll just take these and I'll flip them. Now that we flip these, if we drag the black pip further to the white, you'll see that it starts to cut away this guy. It is actually working from here. This is actually transparent. It's just a bit hard to tell because of the bright white. But if you put something underneath this, you'll be able to see through a little bit through here, but it's a gradient. So it's not going to be purely transparent until it hits black. So you can bring this right over, and now you can see this thing is really going to scale with the size of our empty. Okay, now let's break it up a bit. Let's make it a bit rough. Now to do that, what I'm going to do is actually affect the coordinates of the sphere. So what we're going to do is like basically just like a displacement modifier, right? Like putting a displacement modifier in mesh where it breaks up the surface of the mesh and makes it, you know, kind of wonky. We're going to do the same thing here by distorting the texture coordinate. So if you picture that sphere again in 3D space, by changing these numbers, by adding some noise into this, it's going to start to change the shape of that sphere, and we'll see that along this edge. So let's do that. I'm going to come over here and grab a mix, and I'm going to switch this to color, and I will drop it here. And I'll just move this stuff again, just to keep giving us more room. And I'm going to let's grab a noise node, and I'll drop this here, plug the factor into the second input. And if I turn it off, it's going to look the same. But as I start to turn this up a little bit, you'll see that circle starts to change. If I change the scale here, you're going to see that roughness really start to come into play. I'm wondering if I want two. One that I can really push it, and one that has like a rough for the rough edge. Let me try that. I'm going to grab another one, drop it here, grab another one of these, drop it here. And this one, I'm going to turn the scale right down, and turn the factor up, and the roughness down, and the detail down. Now you can see it's a bit irregular. It's not quite like a circle. Looks quite good. Now let's start building this into a shader that actually has some, you know, realism to it. So we can go ahead and start plugging all of our other stuff back in. So I'm going to unplug this from the base color and from the emission. We're going to let this system just apply to the alpha. So I'll drag these down, and we can bring all this back. Take the normal into the normal, and the color into the color. Great. Now let's go ahead and do the hot edge where the fire is. Okay. So we're going to use this, and I will plug, let's see, Shift D to duplicate. Bring the factor into this and make it a little bit more room. I might drag this up a bit so you can see this a little bit better. Make sure you guys have a good view. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and plug this color into the emission. Now I don't want it all to be glowing white. I just want the edge. So if I zoom in here, what I can do is I can click plus and drag this here and make this black. Okay, so now I just have this little highlight, basically, that's going to be white. And we can take this and give it that red hot color. And now to really get it to glow, we come over here to the emission strength, and we can turn that right up. You can see it starts to look a lot like a burning edge. So now if it gets a bit hard to click these and move them around, you can use this little clicker to cycle between them. And then you can use this to change the position. So you can hold down Shift, for example, with this. All right. Well, we're going to need to use this to drive some of the colors. So let's see. I'm going to duplicate this color ramp, plug the factor in again. And this one, we're going to use to multiply in with our colors. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate this and plug this in here. And we'll lose everything to start with. I just need to zoom in. And we want to keep everything that's on this side. So we can make this white. Because when you multiply white, right? Or sorry, over here. When you multiply white, which is all ones, basically, with whatever your color information is, it preserves it. It sticks around. Because multiplying anything by 1 is the same number. It doesn't change. Black is going to be 0. So multiply anything by 0 means it's going to turn to 0. So it makes everything black. So that's how we can control this. I'll just use this to grab the pips. Let's see, we can make a little like blackened bit just before the hot. Now, you can see that it's like growing a bit. What we could do is actually move this to make it burn. That way the edge kind of stays the same. Let's take a look. I feel like it's a little too crazy. So I might take this factor down a bit. You could technically use this. That's kind of a cool way to do it, because then it's really irregular. It just gets more and more crazy as it goes. Go up and down with it like this. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at this. That's cool. It's nice. So you can see how these two really work well together. You know, it's like the big noise and the fine noise. It's a great way to create good detail. That looks really cool, doesn't it? I love that. Well, I hope you found this tutorial really helpful and interesting and that you can use it in your own projects. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave me a comment and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much to all the Patreons and everybody who's joined on YouTube as well. You guys, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Have a fantastic week. I will catch you in the next one. Until then, see you later.